we got another Mortal Kombat video. I think you get the point already, so let's get into Deception. This time it takes place after everyone tried to beat the Deadly Alliance. Most of the characters of Deadly Alliance are dead, and few made it into Deception or in the background of stages. Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are fighting against Raiden. Raiden loses and the Deadly Alliance fight. But then the Dragon King Onaga struts into the scene of the Soul Chamber like he owns the place. Raiden and the Deadly Alliance fight the Dragon King. Raiden blows himself up trying to kill the Dragon King, but fails. Now, I won't get into the story that much because the story is like Sub-Zero mythologies, but you play as someone else. You play as Shujinko. He goes on his quests with the help of Damashi. Both of them try to collect the Kamidogus together. I won't say anymore, but it's really cool being in an open world of Mortal Kombat. This is the first time we get to interact with the world of Mortal Kombat. It surprises me how much details are in the conquest. Yes, it is a conquest, and not a big wall of text or a character ending. But some endings are canon, like Deadly Alliance. It's really interesting, but they both have similarities. The conquest is one of a kind, but weird. Everyone talks like they're in an early 2000s video game. Wait a minute. But most of the conquest is boring. It's probably because I played it 1,000 times, and it seems like almost every side quest has a Yakuza sub-story twist, where people in another realm want you to go look for their lucky wristband while you're on your adventure. Or it just so happens the dog you were looking for just turned into meat because the guy thought it was a stray, so he tells you to bring it back to the woman who sent you to look for a dog. You bring it back to her, and then she invites you to make stew out of it. Just a normal day in Mortal Kombat. There are characters from the previous game just for more coins and for the extra challenge. There's a hub area to go to different realms. It's interesting, but this is a good way to switch between realms. And I have to give props to the art direction and the stages. This has to be one of my favorite stages in video games as a whole. But you can make the argument by saying it's generic and it looks like every gothic video game set piece. To that, I say you're not wrong, but you're not right. It does have stages that are boring, but most of them have a lot of flair. Now with the stage set, let's look into our cast of characters. Before we get into them, I just want to point out that there are a lot of generic fighters just to pad out the roster. We have Cobra from Cobra Kai, from the Black Dragon, Ashura, Dairu, Shujinko, Darius, Havoc, Kira, Wataru, and Onaga. If you forgot about them already, that's fine because they're easily forgettable. I will give credit to where it's due is that they at least try to put something into the story. Maybe if they had more of an impact, then I could give them a break, but usually fills up the roster for the next game that I will cover. But enough negative stuff, let's head into the combat. In this time around there are death traps. All of them are different in their own way. If you get caught in one of them, it's a win for the opponent, but if you get them, it's a win for you. So if you can't pull off a fatality, death traps are your way to go. I forgot to mention that some death traps you can fall off the arena by accident, so be careful. For the fighting, it's the same for Deadly Alliance, but they didn't add the feature to power up or dodge, but the combo switching and the battle damage is still there. I think they improved on the fighting styles, but I could be wrong. I think it's a smoother system, and the fact that there are more characters is just a cherry on top. I wanted to point out on the costume designs because some of them are, well, bad. I'm a big fan of old Sub-Zero, but I know that the community doesn't like this skin and don't like how Sub-Zero is old. If you really think about it, Sub-Zero never died except for the first game. Speaking of Sub-Zero, Noob and Smoke are one character, which I think is a really cool idea and innovative that there are two characters in one, which is a really cool idea. The side content is one of the best in all of the Mortal Kombat games. We have puzzle combat, chess combat, and conquest. There is so much stuff to do, it's very hard to stop playing because you want to unlock everything, or you're a casual player who just wants to have fun. Chess combat is very long, where the characters are chess pieces, and you can select people as kings, queens, etc. Puzzle combat is my favorite, where it's like Tetris but different. It's a lot shorter than chess combat. Now let's do our traditional fun facts. In Deception, the only way to get Zombie Liu Kang, you have to get him in the Conquest. You have to wait at a certain time and meditate until you find a chest with Liu Kang. If you want to get his other skin, you have to wait as well. I'll leave a link in the description on how to get him. There are two Mortal Kombat games, Deception and Unchained, and for the reason why I'm not going to do a review for this one is because there's not much to talk about. And last but not least, on the stage Sky Temple, if you get Havoc on one of the death traps, he will say, Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.